This fall, we're bringing you different perspectives on entrepreneurship here in Albuquerque. Now we're going to meet an environmental engineer who focuses on water issues. Phoebe Sweeney works with local tribes in water resource planning, watershed management, and flood damage assessment and repairs after wildfires. She is Cochiti in San Felipe Pueblo, and she also sat down recently with our producer, Sarah Gustavus, to talk about how she started and grew her business.
Phoebe, so glad to sit down with you today.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm honored to be here.
You started your company High Watermark about 2 years ago, but you actually laid the groundwork for your company back in 2011 after the Los Conchas wildfire. Why did you approach Cochiti Pueblo leaders to offer your services as someone who knows water?
Yeah, back in 2001, I finished up my graduate degree, and the Cerro Grande fire just happened. And I was blessed to be employed by Los Alamos to help Los Alamos National Laboratory after the Cerro Grande fire. I managed all the flood and erosion projects to protect facilities, infrastructure, and people of the laboratory. And with that experience, I was able to work across multiple watersheds, multiple situations, highly burned areas, low severity burn areas. And with Cochiti, when the Las Conchas fire occurred, a light bulb went off, and I said, hey, you know, I've had this experience. I also have this formal education experience in hydrology and environmental engineering. Let me see where Cochiti sits in respect to the Las Conchas fire and the potential threats of post-fire flooding. So that was what initiated my thoughts to approach the leadership. And when I did, they were grateful and to welcome me in, and I began to look at the details with respect to Cochiti's situation after the Las Conchas fire, and realizing Cochiti was in the bullseye, much like our sister pueblo Santa Clara up north was after the Las Conchas fire had burned a majority of their watershed. We have 3 major watersheds at Cochiti that were severely burned. One of the watersheds was actually one of the largest watersheds that was impacted by the Las Conchas fire, and that's Peralta. And that Peralta watershed was about half burned, and at the bottom of Peralta watershed sat Cochiti Pueblo. And so when I began to analyze and look at the situation, I realized we were in a very precarious situation, and I wanted to do all I could to help the community and the people.
And what unique services are you offering right now for tribes? What would happen to them if there wasn't a company like yours to offer that guidance and expertise?
Yeah, and I want to also say, you know, the tribes have a great deal of wealth and capacity and knowledge. One of the difficulties with many federal funding opportunities and avenues is that it's very hard to navigate. One of the largest potential pots of money for tribes in particular is through FEMA. But because of the historical misuse of FEMA funds and some of the fraud use, the funds are highly regulated and reviewed once projects are implemented. So you have to be compliant in regarding environmental compliance, procurement, financial, total project compliance. And unfortunately, it's a unique animal, and so not many people have that experience working with such constraints that you have to dot all your I's, cross all your T's. And so for many of the tribes, I feel with our services that we can help not only guide them, but also convey some capacity, added capacity through the execution of projects. So kind of instill some knowledge and leave behind, once the projects are complete, that understanding and knowledge to bring up their capacity as well.
And in your own experience in entrepreneurship and starting a business, there's lots of things that you have to learn yourself to run a business. Who have you gone to for guidance and support to learn the things you needed to know to be a successful business owner?
So I've been very blessed to have a great network of colleagues and friends, whether it's through my work at Los Alamos National Laboratory or through my former consulting company, that and also with friends that also have started their own businesses. So they've imparted and shared with me a lot of lessons learned, imparted knowledge, also shared with me resources. So I've gone through the PTAC here in Albuquerque.
What's PTAC?
Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and they've been able to provide some guidance, but it's also knowing what to ask of those resources. I also am working with the Native Entrepreneur in Residence program through New Mexico Community Capital, who's paired me with a mentor, and that's Wendy Eder. And so she's provided a great deal of knowledge and guidance. She started her own company, was an 8A woman-owned company. So I've been able to kind of learn a lot from her as well. In addition to that, she has a network, and she's been so generous in sharing her network of, even as down to who we might want to seek some lines of credit and financial support from banks and other businesses.
Do you think that's important? There's a lot of talk about wanting to encourage more women to open businesses, more people who haven't opened businesses before. Is that network a key part of that?
Absolutely. Being a woman is another complexity, especially in the environmental field. It's a male-dominated field, and then a lot of the leadership here in New Mexico is male-dominated. So it helped me know that there was other women out there, maybe not doing the same thing, but also again, listening to them, really listening and getting those nuggets of advice that would help me navigate the challenges and in a respectful manner as well.
And how do you advertise your services? How do you get people to know that you're available?
Well, we have a website at www.highwatermark.com. We've also again been blessed that a lot of our services have been word of mouth. When the flooding in July of 2013 and September of 2013 happened here in New Mexico, and it impacted all 19 pueblos and the other tribes, including Navajo Nation and the Apaches, we were already working with Cochiti Pueblo and some other Middle Rio Grande tribes, and a lot of the leadership reached to their brothers in those other pueblos that, these folks know how to navigate the complexities of seeking and obtaining federal funds, and also other resources, but how every community, every tribe, every pueblo is unique in their priorities. So it's not a cookie cutter approach. And so when we work with the communities and tribes, we try to come in with the respect and the understanding that, what may work at one tribe may not be the focus or the priority at another. And we gear our objectives and our approach and strategy to accommodate the differences in priorities.
I also understand that giving back is an important value for you as a business owner. Tell me more about that.
Absolutely. So I'm from Cochiti and San Felipe Pueblos, and the way that we're brought up is we're brought up that it's not just us. We have to think of almost the entire world view. What we do, how we start our day is from a world view down to a nation view, down to a community view, down to an individual family view, down to ourselves last. And so in order for us to fulfill our responsibility on this earth is to give back, not only to our family, to our communities, and as well as the outer communities. And so that's a core value that we're all taught, and we actually demonstrate that through the way we carry ourselves throughout the day. So taking that core value, it's really important to give back, not just to Cochiti or to San Felipe Pueblos where I'm from, but to the greater communities as well.
Phoebe, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Sure.